Coping with disappointment. If I can get the next slide up, which it's not coming up. There it is. Coping with disappointment. First of all, coping means I will no longer worry about the things which I have no control over. Two questions. Can you control the outcome of a prospecting call? Second question, can you control the outcome of a listing presentation? The answer to both of those questions is absolutely no, you can't. But can you control what you say on the phone during that prospecting call? Can you control what you say during the listing presentation? And the answer is definitely yes. So therefore, don't worry about the things you have no control over. Start to focus everything, your attitude, your life, everything, your behavior, on those things which you can control. In other words, learn your presentation on the phone. Learn your presentation during the listing presentation. Know exactly how to perform it. And then what's really interesting is all of a sudden, the top part in yellow there, coping, means I no longer worry about the things which I have no control over. Even though you don't have control, it's going to turn out to your benefit in most cases, because now you have control over what you're doing, what you're saying. And you're going to cause those people to end up listing with you and giving you the appointments more often than not. Look at the next one, how to manage your time. First of all, set priorities. Do Class A items first. Now, this is what I was talking about a moment ago when we were talking about the goals and priorities, but a Class A item is a task that I have to do today. And one that should be done every day is prospecting. Again, not just for sale by owners, but every time you find yourself free, with a minute free, you should make a call. I have my associates always make up what I call a list of 50. And it's a list of 50 people that they know, just the name, the phone number. And then I have them also develop a 5-second monologue. And I have them write it out on a piece of paper, and I have them commit it to memory. And they use that same monologue with every person they call. Every time they find themselves with a free minute, they just take that out of their pocket, they pick up their cell phone, and they make the call. The monologue might be, hey, John, I just want to let you know I'm getting my real estate license, and if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call me. Now, if that generates a conversation, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great too. All you were doing is putting your name and your face in front of their mind so that when one of those three things that I mentioned before, they either buy, sell, or know of somebody that's going to buy or sell, they automatically think of you. So prospecting is an A item, and it has to be done every single day. A B item is a task which must be done within the next week. Let's suppose for a moment that we have a competitive market analysis on a listing that we need to do for Friday, and today is Monday. And we can't do the listing presentation until Friday because the owner's out of town. Well, normally in a situation like that, most people will say, well, I'll get it over with today. I'll do it today. I'll get it out of the way on Monday. And when we do that, what we're really doing is filling that spot, that A time frame, to justify why I don't have to prospect or why I don't have to do that item that has to be done today. And there's also in another book, How to Get Control of Your Time in Your Life by Alan Lakin, he talks about something called the Swiss cheese approach to a major task. And the Swiss cheese approach is that you view that task as though it were a wheel of Swiss cheese. And you, in turn, take chunks out of the task the same as if you were taking a bite out of the cheese. Eventually, you take enough tasks or chunks out of the task literally disappears. So taking it over the full week means that I don't have to sit down for an hour and a half at any given time and do that competitive market analysis. I do it in increments. The last one is C time. And those are usually personal in nature, but the key to it is that it has no time limit. There's no time limit at all. Now, obviously, what we should be doing first is right here. We should be doing the A items first. But in most cases, we'll end up doing the C and the B to fill this A item slot. Let's go to the second. When possible, do the things you least want to do first. Well, if you're new to real estate or you don't like prospecting, that's what you need to do first. The things that you least like to do. Eventually, you're going to begin to realize as you get these appointments and start getting more listings, all of a sudden, you like doing it. And that's when you find the time to do it. I want to ask you a question about you and your doctor. Which is more important, you or your doctor? Now, obviously, you are. Let's suppose that this afternoon at, say, 3:30, you have a doctor's appointment. And you know you've been to this doctor many times, and you know that you usually sit in the waiting room for, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Then you go into the little room, and you're there for another 15, 20 minutes, and then the doctor comes in. You're with them for another 30 minutes. And so you take that time frame from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, and you block it out. Nothing is going to fit into that time slot. You're not going to make a listing presentation. You're not going to make an appointment with your accountant. You're not going to do anything. You set aside that time. Well, why not do it with yourself? What I mean by that is time block your week. Make an appointment with yourself to prospect, to do whatever you need to do. But do it in your calendar right there where you're going to see it, and make it an M task up here so that you're forcing yourself to do it during that period of time, and nothing takes more or becomes more important than that particular task at that given time. As he said, you're more important than your doctor, but we treat the doctor with more prestige than we would ourselves. We consider them to be more valuable, their time more valuable. Your time is much more valuable than your doctor's. Let's look at number 4. Avoid interruptions, but be flexible. An average associate's day is just a continuous procession of interruptions. You have to decide, choose your battles here. Which is a good interruption, which is a bad interruption? Good interruption, a buyer calls. Bad interruption, I'm sitting around talking with this associate about the ball game last night, or I'm reading the newspaper. One of the things you have to be is flexible enough to handle the good interruptions, but you have to avoid the bad ones. The question is, how do you know when to avoid them? How can you tell that it's actually a bad interruption? I've managed, 12 to, 15 offices over the years. And I would move around a lot when I was managing these offices. By that I mean I would go from one office to another office, opening an office, building it up, changing to a new one, building it up, and then going on to another one. At one of these offices, they threw a going-away party for me. And when I walked into the restaurant at the luncheon, there was a banner on the wall. And the banner was a professionally made banner with 2 words on it. And before I tell you the words, before the meeting, or before the luncheon, they had taken this banner and they'd taken a red paintbrush about 2 inches wide, and they circled the words and slashed through them, just like you'd see a no smoking sign. The words that I saw when I walked into that lunch were, "What's happening?" And it wasn't until that moment that I found out that those were the words the associates in that office hated to hear me say. Because if I saw somebody sitting at their desk, I'd walk up and say, "What's happening? What are you doing? What's going on?" Now, what I was really saying to them is, why are you sitting here? Why aren't you out there making it happen? It almost got to the point where nobody came to the office anymore. I mean, they came in when they needed something, but they didn't sit around in the office gathering with other associates or, just handling all of the nonsensical things that they needed to do. They focused on what they had to do every day. So you need to avoid the bad interruption. But the first thing and the most important part is that you have to be able to spot them. So what I would suggest to you is that you write that down, the words, "What's happening?" Focus on it constantly, and be asking yourself the question, what am I doing right now? What's happening? And if what I am doing is not furthering my career in real estate, why am I doing it? Why am I sitting here gabbing with this associate about the ball game last night? The fifth one, handle your mail documents only once. This is a standard, just basic time management principle. And this would also include your emails. If you get an email, you get mail, answer it, don't put it aside to do later. And then number 6, use a good contact management program. There are a number of them on the market. Top Producer is real estate related. It's a great time management product. But also, if you have on your computer Outlook, you also have a great contact management program right there. That's one of the programs within the Microsoft Office suite, which includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and also the Outlook. Now, if you have it, look for Outlook, not Outlook Express. Outlook Express is an email program. Outlook is a full-blown contact management program. I've been using it for about 5 years and absolutely love it. It's a great, great program. The next one, how to avoid all stress in your life. Well, I said not your life, your real estate. First of all, you have to understand that there are only 2 ways to get stress in real estate. And those 2 ways to get stress are, 1, by doing the things you know you shouldn't do, and by not doing the things you know you should do. Now, you need to prospect. I know I need to prospect. Every day I've got to prospect. But, man, it's such a gorgeous day. And by the way, it really is. Temperature where I'm at right now in South Florida, 76 degrees, sunny sky. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to go play golf. I'm going to get out the boat. And you know what your mind is going to tell you? You've earned it. Go do it. And that boss you have is going to tell you to do the things that pleasure you. But while I'm out playing golf, while I'm on the boat, while I'm doing whatever I want to do, all of a sudden the guilt comes in. And that's what causes the stress. I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it. The real problem is that we are our own boss. Independent contractors, we can do anything we want to do when we want to do it. There's nobody sitting over us saying, do this, do this, do this. We have to constantly be saying that to ourselves. That's why I said what's happening is so important. Ask yourself that constantly. What am I doing right now? And if what I'm doing is not furthering my career in real estate, why am I doing it? Now, let's talk about avoiding stress. To avoid all stress in your life, number one, don't let things drift. Do them now. Get them out of the way. It's like your mail documents. Don't put them aside to do later. Handle it right now. Number two, avoid excuses. It's very easy to make excuses as to why I don't want to go out and farm in my area. It's hot today, or whatever. And I make these excuses. It's easy to do that. You got to avoid that. Take one thing at a time, especially if you're brand new in real estate. Do one thing and do it well. Later you can multitask, but at the very beginning, make sure that you do one thing at a time, and then, as I say, do it very well. Talk things over with those you trust. And then the next one is also very similar to that. Examine the strategies of top producers. You want to make sure that you do talk to those people that you know can give you advice. Do you know what the average tenure is in real estate? The average length of time that somebody stays in this business. For all intent and purposes, I'm a dinosaur in real estate, but it means that I've been in the business for over 36 years. But length of time for most associates coming into the business is about 7 years. And the problem is that what happens is they start doing everything right, everything. They're prospecting, they're getting listings, they're earning money, they're doing everything they need to do. And then they keep doing it, and they start earning more money in their first year, more money in their second year, and by the third year, they're earning more money than they've ever earned in their life. And then they make a fatal mistake. And that fatal mistake that they make is that they stop doing what made them successful. And what I mean by that is that they stop prospecting. They stop prospecting. At the moment they stop prospecting, and this is the really unfortunate part, it's such a slow decline for the next 4 years going down that they don't even see it coming. They start thinking, I don't need to prospect. That's for the newbies. That's for the new associates. I've got so much referral business, I can't handle it. And so they look at their income, projecting their income out over the fourth year, and it's dropped from, I don't know, $300,000-$400,000 down to $200,000. I said, well, that's no big deal. I can live on that. And then in the fifth year, it's down to $150,000, and then it's down to $75,000, and then it's down to $50,000. And then all of a sudden I'll say, well, real estate isn't what it used to be. And it isn't that real estate's changed. It's that I've changed. You need to examine the strategies of others and realize that those that have been in the business for more than 7 years, those are the people that you need to talk to. Because those are the people, if you look at them, you'll find out they've been prospecting every single day, and they will. They'll continue to. They never stop.